superstar. He is an absolute superstar, Tom Mitchell. Cripps at the back. Cripps is too good. Neil, yes! Oh, how good was that?
All right, boys, the last time we saw each other was in OKC. Cripper, you were driving around Josh's Corvette, almost crashed it. We haven't told you that yet, but that's another story. But, mate, good to have you back home. How you feeling?
Great to be back. It's been about a year since I'm home, so it's great to be back.
100%, mate. So, mate, we're pumped to have you back. Some cool things coming up. But let's first recap your season, because you must be so pumped with how it unfolded, especially, you know, making the play-in tournament, and this your first game was unbelievable. So talk us through the season as a whole and sort of how you've improved again.
Yeah, obviously, you know, people's expectations of us coming into the year were not anywhere near where we, you know, got to the play-in tournament. So we obviously exceeded them, but I think for a young group, you know, it's important to not get, you know, distracted by, you know, the outside noise. I think our team did a good job at that. Obviously going to the play-in, and we came off such a high, you know, in New Orleans. We got them there, and then went to Minnesota. I think you just sees what an experienced team like that's been in that position, and they smashed us, you know, in that second playing game. So obviously a tough way to win the year, but you know how it goes, and hopefully we're back there for many more years.
Do you want to read this for me, Crit? Read that.
What do you got then? Points scored in first career NBA postseason game. You'd have seen this, wouldn't you?
So this just popped up before. So
Giannis 10.
You scored 31 in your first official postseason game, which was the one against Pelicans, obviously.
AI,
which is the most ever. Next in line, read the names out.
Iverson 30, Durant 24, Shaq 24, MJ 23, Steph 19.
Playing game.
Larry Bird 15, Magic.
I reckon I was going to say the last time we all caught up was actually the WWE, wasn't it? Yeah. So we're in OKC, and then we're doing a bit of a shoot at the facility, and the WWE rolled in. So who were the big fighters there that night? Because I remember I went out. It was off season. I went out to get us some hot chips, and I missed the best fight.
It was
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, yeah. He got put through a table, didn't he? Yeah. Now, I remember you saying that, like, because we came and watched, was it, no, we didn't watch, no, we came back a week later and watched you. I think you guys started the season 0-2, and you were saying how, like, you expecting sort of to rise up the ranks. So, to make the play-in, that must have been an awesome experience. But talking about, like, New Orleans versus Timberwolves, so you reckon the difference was they just had that experience where went up?
For us, you know, such a big win in New Orleans, I think, was such a high, but then we had to come in and play another game. I guess the teams that had been in playoff series before, that had, you know, multiple guys that played in those type of big games, and we weren't ready for it. I mean, we started the game slow, and, you know, the lead kind of kept getting longer and longer, and by the third quarter, they got up by 30 and blew the game out. But, I mean, it sucks to end the season that way, but it's also good to, you know, come back here.
Sure. And you've obviously a pretty young team, and the future's going to be pretty scary. So I'm not sure how many first round picks you're coming. You got a fair few.
25 something next 5 or 6 years. That might be maybe
So
20.
how do you reckon I know you're not the GM, but do you reckon like you trade for a star, or like, because you know how the cap works, there's only a certain amount of young guys max, like, what do you reckon? I know you probably can't
You'll get the max, so let's just leave you out of the trade.
It's interesting because we do have so many picks, and it eventually gets to a point when you're rebuilding where you don't want to keep drafting young guys. So, I mean, I'm not the GM, so I'm not going to decide. But Sam Presti, our GM, is probably the best in the business. So, you know, whatever he decides to do, you probably trust him with. But yeah.
And what about Shai? Is it Shai or Shea?
Shea.
Shea's obviously, you know, the one that's everyone knew he was good, but whether they knew he was this good, and you played in the backcourt alongside him every game. We'll get to his off-court stuff soon, but like how does he prepare? How's he done what he's done this year? Because he's arguably top 5 player in the league this year.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he was like a borderline all-star last year, and took another big jump this year. You know, I think no one expected him to take, you know, this big of a jump. We knew he was going to keep getting better, but to go from, you know, borderline all-star to one of the best players in the league, he was great. Led us to the playing game this year, so he carried a big part of the offensive load and what we did this year. So, and he's still 25 years old, so he's still a young guy. And yeah, you know, he's going to be obviously a massive part of, you know, the future in OKC.
What about your own game? Like every year you elevate. I reckon like as the year went on, it looked like you kept getting more comfortable and you're having some big stat lines. Like, what do you focus on going into the season? Anything you've changed in season, or just keep building sort of good habits?
Yeah, I mean that's important. When you play 82 games, it's like easy to you have a bad game, you have a good game, so it's easy to kind of get caught in the highs and lows. But if you just put the previous game in the past and move forward, I think that's the best way I found out. I think in my rookie year, I was so worried about what people were thinking of me, and I get on social media and people are writing on Twitter, and I'm checking my
Giddey's a bust.
Yeah, I'm checking my DM requests and getting abused by people who have money on the game or have money on your points, over under. So I was worried about all that stuff my rookie year, but this year I kind of put all that stuff out, and the more games you play, you get more comfortable and get naturally better.
Yeah, keen to ask you about a little off-court one. So everyone in Australia loves when you guys get kitted up and you walk to the games. How that whole process actually works. I've actually asked you. So, Shay, for example, I assume he's got like a stylist or something.
No, he doesn't.
He does it all himself.
He does it himself.
And then what about you? You just hit up bloody Balenciaga or something and say, I need a new thread for this game.
Well, there's different people around the league that like help get you clothes and things like that. But in terms of putting outfits together, I do it myself. Sometimes my friends help me put stuff together. But no, I mean, I have people that get me different clothes, but no. And fashion's a big part of the NBA. Guys have got really into it. So my rookie, I didn't really care about it, but this year I got more into it.
Was it All-Star Weekend? That was probably my favourite, the pick of the bunch. You had the pink suit on.
Oh, yeah, the pink one. We're in the snow, so it went well with the bright white snow.
Yeah, and I feel like LA is probably the next place you got to dress up in.
Exactly. LA, all the big cities, LA, Miami, New York. So
do any of the boys rip into you? Like, if you have like a kit they don't rate?
Nah,
like,
that's the thing.
So it's not really like that.
It's Aussie culture.
Yeah.
Do you boys dress up for games?
Nah, we're not allowed.
No, really, you have to wear the team stuff?
The only time we did it was the AFLX.
Oh, I saw that,
Yeah.
A few feathers, mate, a few feathers. That's why I'm wearing the hat. A few feathers under it.
What I was going to ask, it was probably a big moment. You'd have been asked this a heap, but you're lucky enough to play in the game where LeBron broke the points record. I remember watching that live. That would have been crazy, eh? Like, there's a bit of carry on afterwards, but what was that like?
Yeah, they told us pre-game that if you did it within the first, I think, if it was before 2 minutes to go in the last quarter, they were going to stop the game and have like a ceremony. And he did it right before the end of the third quarter, and he scored the bucket, and he started like celebrating, and his family came on, and obviously all the media cameras came on, and there was like a 20-minute break in the game. So we were standing there just waiting around, and obviously it's a once in a lifetime thing where that happens. But yeah, I mean, and then he broke the record, and I don't think he played after that. And it was it was a close game, but he didn't come back on, and we ended up winning that game. But it was a cool experience. I mean, to see those celebrities everywhere. So it was a cool night.
You were right near him when he made the shot too.
I was. He was in the middle, the top of the key, and I was right next to him on the elbow. So I was thinking about going and doubling it and kind of ruining it, but
mate, be famous just for being on the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. I was in the photos and everything, so it looked good.
That's cool.
So what was it like when you're sitting there and waiting? Like, are you sort of sitting there like the competitive juice to flow, where you're like, I just want to keep winning, or you're just like, nah, this is the...
Yeah, a bit of both. I mean, obviously you're in the middle of a game, so it's hard to just stop. But at the same time, we knew coming in that they were going to have a ceremony and everything for him, and then Kareem comes on, Adam Silver comes out there, they're talking, and it's a weird thing because it's never happened before, but I mean, you're trying to get back out there, start playing as quick as you can, but I mean, it was a big night, obviously.
Because I reckon, like, you're either like a Kobe man or you're a LeBron man. Like, what do you...
I was a LeBron guy growing up. I was a big LeBron guy. Yeah.
You mentioned the celebrities as well. Like, you would have come across a ton now that you're in the NBA. Like, it feels like they're courtside to every game. Who would be your top three people who you've come across, whether they're sporting people, athletes, non-athletes?
Yeah.
They're just like, that's a bit of a flex. I've met this person. Give us your top three.
That I've met. I mean, a lot of the celebrities that are in LA and the big cities, you don't meet, but I'd say the biggest one that was we had Drake was in one of our games in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I actually didn't play that game, though. It was the one time. I'm a huge Drake fan, and he was in OKC, and I was sick that night, so I didn't play, and I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see him. But when you go to LA, New York, Miami, it's just like packed out with celebs. Like in Miami, like Floyd came in like during the second quarter, I think, and he had like this big entourage with him, and they were all sitting courtside, and it's a big deal, over there, especially in the big cities. And but I mean, you get used to it. You see him so often, and at the start, you're a bit starstruck playing in front of all these big people, but once you get into it, you see him all the time.
And what is your favorite city? Like, where do you like? Obviously, you guys are on the road so much. Where do you like to go? Because you get a little bit of downtime, I guess.
Yeah, a bit. I mean, we tend to stay if you're in the the better cities, we tend to stay overnight. So if we're playing in like LA, typically we'll play the Lakers and the Clippers while we're there. So you get 4 or 5 days. If you're in New York, you play Brooklyn and New York. So the NBA is good with that. But if you're in a city like Detroit or something, you play and you fly out that night. So you don't hang around in those type of cities. But the good ones, they give us a bit of leeway and we stay there.
Yeah.
With like playing 82 games, there'd be nights where you just like, it's like any job. There'd be nights where you're like, I can't be bothered tonight, eh? Like,
Yeah, all the time. Not all the time, but especially I think when you're playing, well, it's hard for us to say because I guess last year we probably were that team. When you're playing teams that aren't great, it's hard to get up for and. But when you're playing against the top teams and it's easy to get excited for those type of games. So, but you've got to find a way to kind of get up for those games where you don't want to, and especially in the middle of the year, you've played 50 games and there's still 30 left, and you just want the postseason to come around, and it is draining. But you've got to find a way to get up for those teams you don't really want to.
And it'd be different, like playing like you'd play high minutes just because you're a starter versus a guy that's like playing part time like 10 minutes. Like the fatigue levels would be different, eh? Like,
yeah, they would. I mean, you're playing so much, but you're also not practicing much, so it's kind of trades off a little bit.
Yeah.
So
when you I couldn't imagine playing a game, traveling, playing a back to back, off no sleep. Like you mentioned last time I saw you, like you're landing in cities in the middle of the night. Like that's a challenge in itself.
It is.
Fatigue levels.
Oh yeah, we played Boston at our house and we beat them. We smashed them by 30 or something, and we broke like our scoring record and we scored 150 points, whatever. And we flew to Orlando on a back to back, and we landed at I think 4 or 5 a.m. and we had to play that night. And Orlando, who was one of the bottom teams in the league, they smashed us that night. So it just goes to show how any night anyone could beat anybody, and the back to backs are tough.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you go now? Like, what playoffs still on? Do you tune in and watch, or are you more like remove yourself?
I do tune in, but it's different watching now that you're in the NBA opposed to when I was a fan and I was like in the NBL and things like that. And it's different watching it now because you want to be there, and we were one game away from playing right now in Denver, so it is different now. But I do still watch it, but it's harder to watch when you're actually in the NBA.
Who's your
gonna get to that.
Phoenix.
You
Phoenix.
think the Suns will win?
Yeah.
Well, let's go through all the matchups. So you think Suns for the chip?
Yeah.
MVP?
Kevin Durant. You think Finals MVP or MVP of the league?
No, let's go MVP of the league.
I think Embiid will win it.
Yeah. And you think he should win it, or you think someone else should win it?
Giannis should win it, shouldn't he?
I think Jokic should win it.
Back to
But
back to
it's-
back.
Yeah, I
think-
don't think he will.
Voters fatigue. I reckon I'll give it to Embiid.
Embiid's been good. I mean, he will deserve it if he gets it. But I mean, if it was me voting or deciding, I'd pick Jokic.
So why do you say the Suns win it? What's like your experience in playing against them that makes you think they're going to win?
I think you take away Chris Paul, they got Booker. You take him away, they got KD. They got so many weapons to go to. DeAndre Ayton, those guys have been there. They played in championship games, so I mean, they know what it takes to get it done, and they got a very good crew.
Who comes out of the East?
I think Boston, especially if Giannis is out, obviously not playing right now. But I think if the Bucks get healthy, I think it'll eventually be Bucks-Boston in the East Finals. But I think Boston will come out of there.
And who do you think Phoenix play in the conference finals?
I think the winner of Sacramento and Golden State.
Really?
I think the winner of that series will.
Do you reckon the Lakers get it done, or?
Nah, I think Memphis will win that series as well.
Yeah, right.
I feel like they've added a lot of, you're the one to ask, but they've added a lot of pieces at the right time. Like their record in the last month is as good as anyone's. LA?
Yeah, they've been good. Since the trade deadline, I think they were really good.
It's interesting, like the different view when someone's actually like plays against. Like when people ask us about who's
we're an
the
expert
teams.
when he's not here.
No, but also like if they ask about AFL teams, like you always have strong opinions on like how you
for
feel.
sure,
So like
for
it's
sure.
different to what other people think.
Who's your? Let's go. I think they call it all team, all NBA. Who's your starting five for the season?
First team, Shea.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic.
Donovan Mitchell. I wouldn't have called that.
He'll be first.
You've had a few games against him, or you just watch him closely?
No, we've played him. I mean, he's we played him. I mean, twice this year. I don't know. I don't remember how he played against us, but I think he's definitely going to be in the first team.
I'm sure there's players out there that publicly probably don't get recognised as well as they should. Is there any underrated players out there who you consider absolute superstars in the NBA that probably don't get the credits of the guys like Embiid and Jokic? Like, who are some guys that you really rate around the league that just really fly under the radar, or not even just?
I think one guy that's flying. I mean, he's getting more notice. I think Mikal Bridges. He was a dude that got traded. He was obviously on Phoenix where they had Booker, Paul, Ayton, and he went to Brooklyn and he's like the man there now.
40
So
games.
he'd be the one. But in terms of superstars, I think Booker's one. Doesn't get as much love as he should. But I mean, they're all, it's the NBA. There's a bunch of superstars in the league.
Is there any guys in the NBA you try and model your game off? Like, even like for us, like you always watch certain players or big part of their game to try and add.
You watch them right now?
Yeah, I watch different.
Who do you like?
I like watching, say, Bondapelli, Oliver,
bigger mids.
all the guys.
You probably watch the guys who's similar to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I might probably watch Lockie.
Yeah.
I
still watch, probably watch him and Lockie as well.
Yeah.
Just like guys that are crafty around the ball.
Yeah.
Don't watch the wingers, mate.
Let them run up and down the pie stand.
Don't go watching them. But yeah, like all craft little elements like Pennebury. Yeah. Who do you?
I mean, I don't really watch players like that now, but before I was in the NBA, I loved to watch, those bigger kind of point guards, pass first guys. I love watching Luka when I was growing up, LeBron. A different one, I guess, Lonzo Ball. I love watching him.
Yeah.
Just the way he passed. He's a bigger point guard. But right now, I wouldn't say I study, other guys in the NBA. But when I was a kid, I loved to watch those guys.
Yeah.
And the passing, like it's the feature of your game, but does that, a lot of it would come natural, like your natural ability, but is it something you work on? Like how do you identify and see these passes that other players just don't seem to be able to make? Because arguably the best passer in the game in the NBA in your second season, what's your view on it?
This bloke. We grew up playing together, and I think...
Did you beat him in one-on-one ever?
No, that didn't happen. But we used to run an offense. It's called the Shuffle. It's like very famous. Not famous, but the Tigers of Andrew Gaze and Lindsey Gaze and whatever, they used to run it. And we used to run this, the Shuffle offense, right? And it was always me and him. I was a point guard. He was our feeder, which is like the four-man in the offense. And all these plays would be like these tight back cuts and these tight windows that we'd have to pass the ball through. And he was always the guy that I was passing it to. So I think a lot of my junior career, that's where my passing came from. And, I mean, I've loved doing it since I was little. And as you get bigger, you see the pass over the defense a little bit more. So we've done it for years. And then I think went to the NBL. It translated, and it's obviously translated, in the NBA.
So have you always been tall or you grew?
I have been since about when I was 14, 15. But when I was younger, I was, a normal height. I wasn't too tall, but no,
You'd be a ruck now, I reckon, if you're playing.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Yeah.
What about the footy? You like to follow it, obviously.
Yeah.
You're always hitting the boys up, who's who's the team to beat this year and things like that. But who are you looking forward to watching? Like, obviously, you're a Hawks man, but you can obviously get to a few games. Who do you follow in terms of players and teams?
Well, obviously the ball magnets crew. I love. I like watching Collingwood.
Yeah.
Been a big I haven't been a big Collingwood fan, but a lot of the guys on the team. Obviously, my mum and sisters are Collingwood people, but
got him into the rooms the other week.
Yeah, no, they said that. So, but I mean, it's obviously tough to watch because of the time difference. You guys are playing at 3, 4 in the morning for us, so it's not easy. But I'm definitely going to try get to a couple games. I was trying to get to the Anzac Day game, but
we'll sort that out, don't worry.
I'm definitely going to get to as many games as I can.
Who'd you pick for it?
For the flag? Who did I say? I said
you
Brisbane.
Picked 4. You picked 4 teams, and they're
Brisbane, Melbourne,
the
Pies, and...
You better say Carlton because he's...
is that who I said?
No, mate, it's all right. No,
might have been Carlton. I don't know who the
Carlton.
fourth one
Or
was.
Geelong, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Who's looking good now?
Who's been the toughest team you played against this year, Chris?
Adelaide, definitely. Yeah, they stitched us
Adelaide?
up on the weekend.
What happened there, that
Really?
first quarter?
Mate, that was sharp.
Avalanche.
Yeah.
What were the crowds like in did you play in Adelaide? In that,
We
round?
did. There was a gather round, so it was like a back-to-back game. So we had a game before us, and then we played St Kilda. So it was kind of weird, 2 Melbourne-based teams playing.
Was there any crowd?
There was a crowd there, yeah.
Yeah, ours was loud because
You were-
we're the home crowd.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, I think it was they were saying they usually get 40, 45. There was like 58, I think. Yeah, maybe it might have been low 50s.
Yeah.
Come to see you.
Mayo, but
Come to see Big Cripper.
mate. They didn't
That's
see
where they
much.
come to
anyway.
watch.
I didn't see much that night. No, they've been the sharpest, I reckon. But I reckon like you don't get a full read until mid-year because like all the fixture, it's like hard to like some teams have easier draws than others. So it's hard though. I reckon the comp's definitely the most even it's been since I've been in the competition.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, you do mention the crowds as well. Though. That's one thing I've noticed since coming to Collingwood. I'm like, it feels like it's like a different game of footy. You've obviously experienced it being at Carlton, a massive club. Hawthorn was big, but you get to Collingwood. Round 1, I think was 86,000. Round
Give
3,
me a big one at Tuesday.
It'll be 90 plus at least.
Yeah,
It's almost like the finals like atmosphere that you crave from when you're younger. It's, you get to experience that in the home and away season.
it's definitely an advantage too. Like it's when you get a home game that's full crowd. Like I think the only home game we've had was Geelong. I think that was 80, and then we got a sellout this week against Saints.
Yeah. Is it Saturday, is it?
Yeah, so
88?
yeah.
Marvel
So
Games.
That's on Sunday. Is that a game on Sunday?
yeah, come along, mate.
I was thinking about it. We might have
Hey,
to.
when are we playing? You boys, we'll have to get you out. You have to come to Carlton Collingwood as well.
That'll be huge.
That would be.
Yeah, that'll
Well,
be,
going by the ones last year,
that'll
I
be
was watching them on
90
TV.
and 100. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
So
insane.
everywhere you
isn't it?
go now, it's like Collingwood and Carlton got fans just going at it. It's cool.
It helps when the teams are up and about. What about I heard you announce that you'll be playing for the Boomers as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. Something I know that you're very. I remember the first time we met. Something you're always very passionate about was your loyalty to back home and your country, and hence even being a part of the Ball Magnets journey in Australian sporting app. Like you're very loyal about that. Is that something you're really looking forward to?
I am, yeah. I mean, the last time I played for the Boomers was probably 3 or 4 years ago. I played in an early tournament with, we played against, I can't even remember who it was. It was some country that we won by 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
It was in the Gold Coast, a few years ago, and I haven't played with the Boomers since then. So obviously the World Cup coming up, hopefully, gold medals on the table. And hopefully we have everyone available and healthy, and I think we got a real chance at winning the gold.
Will the USA bring a good squad out?
They'll bring. I mean, it's obviously going to be a good team regardless of who's
Yeah.
playing. But I mean, I know a few of the guys that are going to play. But in terms of if they have all the All Stars in the league, I don't know who's going to play.
Yeah. And why do you obviously on pure talent they're better than us, pure talent
Yeah.
I would say, but is it the team element that really brings the Aussie team together and the way we play together?
Yeah, it is. I mean, talent-wise, they've got 10 of the best players in the world. So it's going to be hard to match talent with anybody around the world. But in terms of team, I think that's why teams like Australia, Spain, with the core group that's been together for years, makes them so tough to beat. Although the US hasn't had the talent, none of those guys have played together before. So it's like putting 10 guys in a team and saying go win a gold medal is not easy to do. So I think Australia having that core group for so long is going to definitely be an advantage.
It's sort of a mix. You got the old guys now, then a few young fellas coming up. Like, will Dyson Daniels and all that play as well? Like,
I mean, he's available. Yeah, he's going to be there. It's going to be a
is
good.
he actually a selection squeeze? Is there in
Yeah,
some,
So he'll be in the squad obviously, but I think he's going to be in the team. But I mean, you never know with Boomers. There's such a good pool of players to pick from. So there's going to be good players that miss out because the talent level's high right now.
Who would you be closest with out of all the Aussie boys? Because do you guys sort of stick together over there? Like when you cross paths in games in the NBA, you always catch up?
Yeah, I mean, most times when you're in a guy's city, I mean, you see him before games, after games. I mean, I'm probably close with Dyson just because we're the same age. So we lived together for 2 years in Canberra. So but I mean, when you're in the same city, guys usually catch up and say what's up.
Do you have any guys from the Boomers that sort of mentor you, like a Joey?
Yeah, Joe was the big one before I was in the NBA that I spoke to a fair bit because he played in Adelaide when he was younger as well, and came into the NBL when he was 17, 18. So we had a lot to do with each other early days, and then we still speak today, but in terms of mentoring, he was the one before I got to the NBA.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you got a few weeks off now. Well, how do you switch off? Like, that's the most important thing because I know what it's like after a season. You get pretty cooked, fried mentally and physically. What's on for it?
Not much.
Tiana.
What are you laughing at?
Tiana.
Not much. I mean, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot. I mean, this is kind of the only time for the off season we're going to get to chill out. So a lot of relaxing. See what happens.
Yeah. It's got plenty to look forward to. And then when are you officially required back? Because when will the season start again? Like you do we call it pre-season, but training camp.
We have training camp. It's 5 days. It's from end of September.
5 days. So everyone prepares
That's
their.
so good.
Yeah. So you'll get your own trainer.
Yeah, I
Trevor
mean,
Jordan, Lawley.
Yeah, I chose. He's in LA, so if I'm there, I'll work out with him. But guys. I mean, guys don't get back to us here till September, and we'll play pickup, we'll lift weights, we'll work out, and then we don't actually start preseason until September 20. It's like 5 or something. Yeah. We have Monday to Friday training camp, 5 days, and then that's like preseason. Then we play a couple preseason games and
So
start the
different, the
season.
culture of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's basically upon yourself to be ready.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys would not be ready, I assume, but the ones that are very dedicated and have long careers.
That's why they typically keep the young guys in OKC because they've never had an off season, so they don't know how to,
what to do.
Yeah, so for the first, year or two, they keep them there just to show them, how to get, stay healthy, stay fit. Yeah. And then once you get older, they kind of let you go, on your own.
Yeah. So what training do you do? Like, is it like more cross train or like running or like?
We do a bit of both. I mean, when I was, a week would look like, you say Monday, you lift weights, you play pickup. Tuesday, you might be out on the turf, doing sprinting drills, agility stuff. Then we could be in the sand. Then, it's kind of like chopped and changed throughout the week. So a couple weight sessions, couple speed agility stuff. So Yeah, they mix it up a bit. Then they try to make it fun because if you're stuck in Oklahoma for too long and you're not having fun, I mean,
Quiet.
yeah, it's not a whole lot.
You got to get
going
out.
What's like the longest run you'd do? Like, is he not distance-wise?
on.
50 meters.
No, not even. Maybe 20 meters.
Yeah, I think
They
the wrong sport, I think.
Yeah, I know. That'd be nice. The big bull, just get him on the basketball court, get you in the
I
key.
don't think I'd be able to jump,
Find
mate.
ya.
So.
Yeah, so with your training as well, like obviously the next few weeks while you're here, we'll be shooting some of your training programs, which we're pumped to do, and to share that with the Ball Magnets community. So first of all, talk a little bit about, why you're on the journey with us. You're a co-owner of Ball Magnets. I'm not sure if we've publicised that well enough, but a little bit about that, and then what you also want to share through the Ball Magnets platforms with up-and-coming Australian basketballers.
Yeah, well, the big reason I got on was I think this is an awesome thing, especially for younger kids. And I know if I was a young kid and this was around, this would have obviously been something I would have used, every day to learn from, you boys, the best players in the league, AFL league, and then, Aaron, obviously, myself, doing basketball. So such a wide variety of options for these kids to choose from. And, not even kids, you can be older and,
for sure.
want to get in. So, the age range for this is non-existent. I mean, it's available for everybody. And as I said, if I was a kid, a young kid had this growing up, it would have been something I used all the time.
We've said the exact same thing. That was the initial passion of it all, and then to branch out and get to know you really well, and for you to be taking over the basketball thing is something we're super pumped about. And what other ideas you have, like obviously with some teammates over in the States, you'll be able to get some access to some of the best coaches and best players in the world.
Yeah.
What are you sort of thinking with that element for Ball?
Yeah, I think that's another part. Just being, playing in another country, it opens up, to a whole bunch of other people. Obviously, my trainer Jordan, who is one of the best that trains, some of the best players in the world, is going to be available.
Does he train, Jordan?
He trains, Klay Thompson, Zach Levine. So he's got a number of, NBA guys. He worked out Carmelo Anthony for a bit in the summer. So he's got some of the best players in the league. But just having guys like that who are able to come on Ball Max as well, be doing drills, things like that. They're the guys I learn from. So I can only imagine how good of a teacher they're going to be, for kids to learn off.
100%. No, we're looking forward to the next few weeks, and Cribby, you might be able to take him for a run. That's probably the only thing we can beat him in at the moment. We should have a shoot-off, though, some sort of three-point
Well, after my
contest.
last effort, I might just sit out of that one. Remember that? We played it was
Were you
a
throwing up
horse or
air
something.
balls?
Oh, mate, I got knocked out within the first 3 shots, I think. So.
We got footage of that. We'll
Yeah.
have to replay that, Bailey, if
Pass,
you
I
can.
passed first point guard, I think, that can't shoot. So.
Yeah. That's good.
Happy days.
So when you get on the plane, you go up and players turn left,
Yeah.
and we all our students at the front of the plane.
I can imagine there'd be some pretty big pots on the table for some flights as well.
Oh yeah.
When the egos get kicked in. Big player that's coming back for you guys is Chet.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to be huge for our team. I mean, just having that rim protector, that guy that can, crush the glass for us. He does it all, offensively. So he's going to hopefully take our team to another level. And, playing in a pick and roll with him is going to be a lot of fun for a guy like me who loves to pass the ball. So